Hey, this is episode 7 of the Getting to Ramen podcast. So today I wanted to talk about customer service for a few minutes. It's something that I didn't think I would enjoy going into software, going into business in general. And it turns out it's actually one of my favorite parts. And for two reasons. So the first being that you get a real pulse, a real good sense of what your customers are thinking of your product and how what their experience is. And you can't really, it gets harder and harder to do that as the company grows. So when you're small, it's kind of one of the superpowers is that you get to have a close read on that pulse. So that's the first. The second is just that it feels so good to see that people are using what you're building and to be solving their problems. It's so great when somebody comes and they have an issue or they don't understand something or whatever, and I'm able to fix it and really get a response like, hey, thanks so much for doing this. Thanks so much for your help. This is a great tool. And that scenario is always a huge opportunity to create true fans or to create real fans of your product. So Kevin Kelly has this essay online, and which if you're in the SaaS kind of world or the Y Combinator flow of news or whatever, you've probably stumbled upon this article. But the whole idea is that Kevin Kelly, he came up with this concept that if you can have 1,000 people that really love what you do, then you can make a living at it. So he used examples of like artists and musicians and stuff, and then how that kind of translates into software or business of any type. So these scenarios or these cases where somebody's having a real hard time with your app, and they come to you for help, and you're able to solve it for them. These are opportunities to create those fans. And the funny thing, or the counterintuitive thing that I discovered for myself, or at least in my case, is, and I think it transcends into for any business, is when somebody comes in, the more frustrated that they are, when you're able to solve their problem, the more appreciative they are, and the more like attached I think they are to your brand and to your product, because there is this strong emotional attachment, the strong emotional experience that they had with your product, whether it was negative or not. It was emotional, and when you're able to solve it, there's that resolve. That's like now they've just had this emotional connection created with what you've done, and I've had that happen with my product and my customers, but it's also happened for me in the cases of being a customer of other products. So as for like a couple quick examples, there was a stock photo app that I signed up for, and I signed up for a trial and didn't realize that when it was up, they were going to charge me. Or I'm sure I realized, but just didn't pay attention and didn't get any notification when the trial did convert. And so I started getting charges. And after like several months of getting charged, I finally caught on and realized that I've spent like hundreds of dollars or whatever it ended up being on this tool that I never used. So when I got in touch with them, I was obviously very frustrated and asked for a refund, and they refused to give me a refund on any of it. And it's like, in those cases, it's like, sure, you won, you may have won this round, or you may have saved yourself the refund, but I'll never use that product again, and I'll never tell people about it. Now, as a kind of a an alternative to that, I've also had a experience where I purchased a product and spent more than I felt I should have, and was a little, to be honest, a little embarrassed in this case, and frustrated, and I knew I was going to get in trouble with my wife. One of those cases. I went to the company asking for a refund and actually didn't expect to get one in this case. It was a Tai Lopez marketing. It was a course that they were selling, and so it was kind of like, man, this may have been super sketchy. It was a moment of vulnerability, and I was watching a YouTube ad or whatever and purchased the product, and so I call in and ask for a refund, and the guy was super nice, gave me the refund right away. And it's like, all of a sudden I have this, like, I'm more than happy to recommend their product to people. I'm more than happy to purchase their product in the future, for like any kind of product that they might come out with, because I know that there's real people behind it that are empathetic, and they're willing to give you a refund if you're not happy with it. And so that was kind of like the opposite experience. So it just kind of taught me how important those cases are. And like, obviously you want to avoid having customers come in and like really angry and complaining because of your product. But when those situations do arise, and they always do, it's important to look at it as an opportunity to create these true fans. And one of the things you can do to kind of help with that is, when you do approach, when you do get on a conversation with a customer that's frustrated, it's always treating it like it's your fault, or at least like you totally understand that what this customer is feeling, and never just brushing it off. Like, nobody likes that when you get in touch with customer service and they like treat it like, oh, okay, well, let's see what we can do, and they treat it like it wasn't a big deal. So it's always treating it like it's important. So anyways, if you are listening to this, I would love to get feedback on whether or not these are helpful. They're pretty short, pretty raw, but would love to get feedback. So my email's info@joshanderton.com. You can also just tweet me or DM me on Twitter at Joshua Anderton. But would love to hear what you think. And so that's me this week.